Hello everyone and welcome to week 7 of the UBLN. Your New York Empoleons are going to be taking on the Washington Weaviles, coached by Fireburner, and we have a matchup this time. I really do want to win this one. We are going to be going into our week 8 matchup either in first or second in this league, and our opponent next week is the Happy Valley Hariyamas, who we will either be ahead or behind depending on the result of this matchup. If we win this matchup, we're in really good shape. If we lose this matchup, we're not in really good shape. So hopefully we can get this win and walk away 6-1 in this league here at about the a little bit past the halfway point. 12-week season, so we actually just passed the halfway point at 5-1. I'm totally okay with that record. Our only loss coming to last season's champion, and it's a game I know I could have won if I had just played a little bit smarter. So next time we've got answers. His team, though, the team we're looking at is terrifying. Oh my God, Latias, Diggersby, Shaman, Primarina, Persian, Alolan form, Scyther, Cabalion, Togekiss, Alolan, Marowak, Torkoal, and Mega Manectric. Absolutely horrifying, incredible speed tiering. I couldn't decide if I wanted to predict him to bring Scarf Latias, Scarf Cabalion. He could he could not have a Scarfer, he could go Scarf Diggersby. I mean, he has so many options here. And I had a lot of trouble deciding what my team comp was going to look like. But what it came down to was just do what you're comfortable with. Do what works. And you're going to look at this team and say, yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from. I see how you got to 5-1, and I see how you're going to hopefully get to 6-1. I'm a little bit nervous that some of the Pokemon on his team actually do counter some of the Pokemon on my team, and a good prediction or good switches or bad prediction team prep like this right now is going to be what cost me a match potentially. But hopefully we can come out with a win this week. We're starting off with Registeel, the Registeel, holding the Chesto Berry with Clear Body. It's the first time I'm going to be rocking a Resto Chesto set. Seismitoss, Toxic, and Stealth Rock are the other moves. Max HP, max special defense, with a Calm Nature and 0 attack, just so that I take less from Confusion if I do get into it. This thing is designed to be generally bulky against Latias. This is a general switch into Latias. It doesn't have a great moveset. Thunderbolt would be neutral, Surf would be neutral, but resisting Draco, resisting Psyshock, resisting Energy Ball, depending on what he has on his set, because it can have so many different moves. Being immune to Toxic if Latias does run that. I mean, Thunder Wave doesn't bother me because I have Resto Chesto, and I'm also stupid slow, so whatever. So this is really a hard switch into Latias, being able to sit in there, Toxic it if it wants to, set up its rock, Seismic Toss to get some damage off, kind of see what he wants to run with that Latias set. I am expecting to be a Scarf Latias, so this is going to be a pretty constant switch in, which is why I wanted to run the Recovery in Resto Chesto, so that I can switch it in a bunch of times on that Latias. Now, next up we have Skadin. Skadin is rocking a Choice Scarf with a max speed but adamant nature, and the reason for that is that even with max speed and an adamant nature, this thing still speed ties with Alolan Persian. I don't expect to need, it's still just incredibly tough to see myself needing that matchup against Alolan Persian. It doesn't match up super well against the Latias, but with the Scarf I do outspeed it, and I can get a Rock Tomb off and maybe give myself a good chance of beating it later. If he's Scarfed, he outspeeds me, but if he's not Scarfed, then he doesn't. Mach Punch is just generally useful. We've seen how much work they can put in, and with him having a Diggersby, a Persian, a Cabalion, it made sense to just have Mach Punch on this team. Just a little bit of priority, nothing else has it, so I figured this would be a good place to put it. And then Technician obviously is going to help that Bullet Seed out. Max Attack, Adamant Nature allows it to do so much damage to things that don't resist it. It's going to Oko Diggersby, it can Oko Primarina with Bullet Seed, it can Oko Persian with Superpower, a Cabalion with Mach Punch or Superpower. Rock Tomb's going to do a ton to Togekiss or Marowak or Torkoal. So it does have really good answers to things. I think this thing can do a lot of work, but it's not my priority this week, so if I do need to sack something off, it might just have to be Skadin. Unfortunately, Skadin this week, the matchup wasn't great. I couldn't pick my 6th Pokemon, and it ended up being Skadin. Galvantula looked really interesting with Sticky Webs, but with Latias being the thing I'm predicting him to Scarf, Sticky Webs didn't matter to me as much, and his team is otherwise relatively slow, the ones that are on the ground anyway. Next up, we have Robin, the Gliscor, holding the Toxicorp, Defog, Earthquake, Knockoff, Roost, max defense, Impish Nature with 12 speed, just in case he decides to speed creep me, and pretty much max HP. Now, I could run full max HP, and with a Roost, it actually is better to run an even than an odd number, but I didn't feel like I wanted to do that, and I wanted to make sure he couldn't speed creep me with, excuse me, things like the Diggersby. And so I wanted to get that little bit of speed investment in here. Earthquake and Knockoff give me really good coverage against his team for the most part. Cabalion, Marowak, Torkoal, Mega Manectric all don't like Earthquake, and Knockoff's going to handle the Scyther. I mean, obviously, doesn't kill it, but getting really Eviolite will help me a lot. Latias. Shaman doesn't love it. Diggersby doesn't love it. So nothing loves a knockoff on his team at all, and anything that does, aka Mega Manectric, doesn't like an Earthquake, and he can't just hard switch it in. Now he could switch it in, getting the Intimidate and then clicking HP Ice, so I do have to watch out for that. Speaking of Mega Manectric and HP Ice, next up we have Shelter the Tapu Fini, Assault Vest holding Knockoff, Ice Beam, Surf, and Moonblast. This thing is going to be a ton of special attack investment, just enough to guarantee some Okos. Specifically, it's going to guarantee an Oko on the Diggersby with Surf. That's the one thing I was really worried about for this. Everything else doesn't do a ton of damage. Latias isn't that threatening unless it has Size Shock. And even then, it doesn't really do that much damage to me. And I do have the Ice Beam or Knockoff or Moonblast for it, so you can't just hard switch that in. Shaman is scary, but I couldn't get a 1-hit KO on Shaman anyway, so I might as well just make it a 2-hit KO. Primarina doesn't really switch into Finny. I know the matchup of the same typing is really tough for Finny because Primarina does have access to Energy Ball and does get, it's got a ridiculously good special attack, but Tapu Fini with the Assault Vest can handle almost any Primarina set, knock off maybe its choice specs, and then go from there. So that's what the Finny is designed to do. It's really going to counter some of the things on his team that are upper tier threats. Next up we have To Be. I've decided. To be or not to be was the question. To be is the answer. Mega Beedrill with Poison Jab, U-Turn, Tailwind, and Drill Run. Max attack, some HP investment. The rest getting put into speed to make sure that he outspeeds everything on his team that's not Scarfed, which includes the Mega Manectric. So I needed to run 188 speed and a Jolly Nature in order to outspeed Mega Manectric. I have that Drill Run, I have the U-Turn in case he does switch it in and intimidate me, and Tailwind's going to allow my team to just absolutely run house, especially something like Finny under Tailwind. Really does appreciate just getting a couple turns to just hit things before they hit Finny. Gliscor under Tailwind can be really useful. Breloom under Tailwind can be really useful. I know it's got the Scarf, but that doesn't mean it doesn't appreciate the Tailwind as well. So I think Tailwind this week made a lot of sense, and it made sense on the Beedrill set because there was nothing else I needed to run on it. And of course, the big Pokemon, the one Pokemon that really appreciates Tailwind the most, is going to be Haxorus. Haxorus, no Dragon-type move this week again because of Tapu Fini again, but also because Latias is the only thing that's weak to it, and Latias dies to a Buginium Z X Scissor, and I'm also going to be rocking Poison Jab and Earthquake. Buginium Z X Scissor, I was looking at Savage Spin Out on Mew as well, but it made so much more sense on Haxorus. Guarantees an Oko on Latias, guarantees an Oko on Shaman. Absolutely puts in work against, guarantees an Oko on Primarina, Persian as well. And this thing absolutely puts in work against a huge chunk of his team with this coverage. The Poison Jab actually doesn't do anything except against the Primarina. And if I'm with the Dragon Dance, Poison Jab is going to do stupid amounts of damage to Primarina. So that's where I decided I was going to go end up with that decision to run that. Now we're going to be max attack Adamant with 228 in speed. That guarantees that we're going to outspeed anything base 80 or below. And so that's specifically Togekiss in this case. And the Earthquake obviously handling the same things that Earthquake handled on Gliscor, Cobalion, Cobalion, Marowak, Torkoal, Mega Manectric, etc. Now Dragon Dance, if I can get that up, I don't actually know what I would set it up against. There isn't much on his team that doesn't just straight like body me if it does get an attack off. Perhaps if I can get a safe switch into the Marowak or the Torkoal without taking any damage first, I can get a Dragon Dance up and proceed to sweep from there, but I'm not necessarily expecting that. But with Tailwind, this thing will outspeed a Choice Scarf Latias, and that's the really big piece of the puzzle here. So hopefully that's all going to go according to plan. I think we've prepped well for this team. I think this team has a really good chance of winning this game. But as you'll notice, it is Pokemon that I have been using a lot this season. It's kind of the Pokemon I've brought the most this season, and the ones I'm most comfortable with. Not that I'm uncomfortable with any of these Pokemon anymore. I mean, we've shown that we can, in the first half of the season, play with this team very well. I expect the second half of the season should be a really fun time for us, but we do have a lot of work cut out for us in these next couple of weeks to make sure that we solidify our place in the playoffs. And if we can solidify a place with a bye in the first round, that would be huge, because as people know, I'm going away that week. So I will actually not be here for the first round of the playoffs. So if we can get a bye there, that'd be super helpful for me to just not have to worry about it, as opposed to asking for a full week extension and pushing the entire playoffs out by a week. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow with that battle. Take care, everyone.